I nearly forgot, actually, there's quite a line of highlight down the right hand edge of the chest. Just here. And while I've got that blue mixed up, I'm actually going to just spray the paint, that little patch of paint I've got left, with water. Go back to my 1-inch flat brush, and actually let's get it even more fluid than I had it. And I'm actually going to use this to just gently lay in some slightly lighter areas in the shadowy regions of the main animal to begin with. So as I do this, if I do this gently enough, it should just lighten just ever such a little bit some of the dark shadows. But the work I've done already should, show through. Now, when you're doing this, you have to kind of have a little bit of faith, because you can't really tell exactly what it's going to look like until the paint is completely dry. So it's a little bit of trial and error. Up until now, I've been using tinting white, which is a little more translucent than the very opaque titanium white, which I've now got on my brush. So this is going to allow me to put on little areas within the subdued highlights that I put down a moment ago. Little areas that are, very, very bright. And we'll see what things look like in a bit, but I suspect what I'm going to have to do in a little while is darken some of the colors next to this animal to make those highlights appear as bright as I need them to be. But what I'm definitely not doing here, if you notice, is I'm not just filling in that whole outline with white, because that tends to make the animal look a little bit too cut out, as if it's been cut out of cardboard and stuck onto the background. So because sheep's wool, it's got lots of clumps, and I've managed to get a bit of alizarin crimson into the mix. So let me just clean my brush and put some fresh paint on the palette. On second thoughts, I've decided to carry on with that, because a little bursts of alizarin crimson in the highlight might be quite interesting. So we'll see how well it works. So because the texture of the sheep's wool, it's pretty random and got lots of lumps and bumps in it. You want the highlight that you put down to reflect that fact. So it's going to be somewhat disjointed. It's not going to be all one color. And it's certainly not going to be a single continuous line of one thickness. So you've always got sort of, 4 or 5 different parameters to play with, almost regardless of what you're painting. And if you just vary those gently, as you paint, it generally makes for a more realistic and interesting image. And I think part of the problem that we often have as beginners is that the language we use to describe things by design really is very concise, and it's very effective. What color is sheep's wool? It's white. That's